We are live. Yay. Okay. All right. Very good. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Ann Konkoly here. So nice to see you. Today, I am really excited to be here with Lorie Brown, who I met actually through National Nurses and Business Association, which some of you guys will know about because I've talked about it. I've talked about it a few times, which should be a red flag for you to say, wait, what is this thing that keeps coming up? I talk about it because I've made a ton of connections in and at NNBA, and Lorie's one of them. And so I invited Lorie in today to talk about essentially side hustles, which you guys know we talk about all the time, but also to talk about something that I just saw Lorie speak about too, a little bit about mindset. She just did a presentation for NNBA this past year, or last month actually, with me. And Lorie talked about mindset. It was really good. And I wanted to pick her brain a little bit and share some of her experience with you and her background. So Lorie, thank you for being here. So nice to have you.
Thank you.
And I would love, let's just start because your background is extensive and it is different than many of the advanced practice nurses within this group and the nurses in general. I would love if you would share a little bit more about yourself and then how you got started.
Sure. So I'm a registered nurse as well as an attorney. And in between that, I have a master's degree in nursing administration and clinical nurse specialist med-surg. And so how did I go to law school? Well, I get asked that question all the time. And the other question I get asked is, what's the difference between law and nursing? So I always joke that in nursing, the doctors told me what to do. In law, I get to tell them what to do. So basically how I got into law school is I had no dream, no desire, nothing to be an attorney. And I went through a divorce and was thinking, what am I going to do with my life? I'd like to get my PhD or doctorate, but then what am I going to do? Really didn't want to teach or anything. And I had a phenomenal divorce attorney and I thought, well, I'll do that. And it was just basically April, I left my husband. May, I took an LSAT review class. June, I took the test. July, I was admitted. And August, I started. So I didn't really have time to think about this. It was just sort of a, oh my God. And then once I got in, it was like, I really got in. no plan, no thought. It was a good escape, actually.
What kind of nursing did you do prior to going the law school route?
Surgical, actually it was a neurosurgery unit at our county hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then as a unit manager, I had 24-hour responsibilities. So I worked from 7 to 3:30, studied from 3:30 to 5:30, went to school from 5:30 to 7:30, and then studied some more. So after, I don't remember how long into my law school career it was, but on that Friday night after this horrendous week with school and work, I get a phone call saying there's nobody to work the night shift, you have to come in. And I'm thinking, I'm not safe. This is scary. I was actually at a going away party for a friend who is moving out of state. And, but you've got to, when you're called, you got to go in, and there was nobody else. So luckily I had a fantastic staff that supported me and helped me through the shift. They were amazing. I really felt I was very grateful to have such a great staff. And then I just decided I can't keep doing this. And so I went back to PRN after being a unit manager. I went PRN and worked like literally everywhere. It was a great experience because I worked like organ transplant, peds, subacute ventilator. I worked home healthcare, IV therapy, you name it. I did a little bit of everything, which was a great experience for me.
And then, so what made you become the unit manager? Like what was that?
Oh, okay. That's another story.
And all of it is very interesting, but I just asked, I'm out of curiosity, like when did you make the move from bedside nursing into more of a management role or a non-bedside nursing role?
Well, early in my nursing career, I had a patient, well, actually, it wasn't my patient. A patient coded, and I was like thankful it wasn't my patient, because I was new, I was green, I was terrified basically. And fortunately, it was the other nurses' patients. They were taking care of them. I was watching their patients and my patients, and they came out and said, Lorie, we need you to get a Gomco suction. That back in those days, the suction didn't come out of the wall like it does now. And you had to go down to Central Supply, which is always in the basement, to get the cart to wheel up this suction machine so that the patient could be suctioned. And so I called, I remember standing at the linen cart with the corded phone, and I called Central Supply asking them to bring up this life-saving equipment. And they said, we don't deliver. And I was shocked that this man was coding. I was watching my patients and all of theirs, and there's nobody to get this equipment. So I pleaded with her for a little bit, and I don't remember what happened after that, but I the next day, my unit manager called me in her office and said, Lorie, I have to write you up. And I'm like, why? I was like shocked. And she said, because of the way you spoke to the person from Central Supply. Well, apparently I was like the only one in the hospital that didn't know Central Supply didn't deliver. But more importantly, why would they allow at that time our highest paid staff to go to Central Supply to get life-saving equipment? That just shocked me that that the unit manager would allow her nurses to have to run down to do non-nursing related activities instead of saving somebody's life. And so at that moment, I decided I'm going to go into unit to be a manager and have my own unit and do things the way that I want and support my staff. And if there was a situation like this where, maybe it was a communication issue, I would help my my nurse get the skills that she needed rather than just write her up. I just was like so upset by this whole experience. I had never ever gotten in trouble at a job, and I've been working since 14, and this was my first write up. So yeah, I made the decision. I went to get my master's degree in nursing and nursing administration and clinical nurse specialist med surg, and became a unit manager.
How long ago?
And then what I found out there,
Yeah, go ahead.
then what I found out as a unit manager is either you conform to administration or you leave. And if administration isn't supportive to nurses, which unfortunately they weren't, I left.
Yeah. How long ago was it the write-up?
After I was licensed.
Yeah, no, how, like, what year did that occur? Out of curiosity, like, how long ago was that?
It was 1980, 82, I believe, 1982 or 83. I graduated nursing school in 82. So.
Okay, so this is almost, I mean, it's almost 40 years ago. The thing that resonates for me is that's almost, 35 plus years ago, and we're still having conversations about why it's not working to the top right level of your license to go get the life-saving equipment or find the IV pull or take the time to go and find the Doppler. I mean, just to hear that story, it's unbelievable to hear that's
yeah, things haven't changed.
right. They've changed and they haven't, and they literally
haven't.
That's just astounding, to be honest. Okay, tell me, so you kind of were like, I think I want to do this, like I can do this better, like I can do it differently. I can do it better, because that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Okay.
And I did. I was, again, 40 years ago, oh my God, I'm dating myself, but 40 years ago, I was a very progressive manager. I let the nurses fill in their own schedules. I put in every other weekend, and I wanted them to have as much say as possible. So staff meetings, I wanted them to feel heard. I wanted them to, create what they wanted on the unit, how they wanted to be supportive. It was a team, and it was great.
Yeah. How, so when you applied to law school, you were in the unit manager role, correct?
I was, yes.
So, and the thing that flipped the switch, so to speak, for you was working with the with the divorce attorney, then that was like you said, what happened in there that you said, oh, this is interesting and I want to do this?
I think, to be honest, my ex-husband was, um, he, this is embarrassing to say, I can't believe I'm saying this on Facebook, but I don't think he was the most supportive man in the world, and he would put me down, and I never thought I was smart enough. So when I met with this attorney, I was like, I think I can do this. And I actually loved how he was helping people, just like um, just like he just like I did as a nurse. And so people say, well, what's the difference between law and nursing? And I say, well, a patient comes to you, you have to assess, plan, intervene, and evaluate. They don't come with a sign on their head, appendicitis or whatever the issue is. And same with law, is somebody comes to you and you don't know exactly what they need, but you assess, plan, intervene, and evaluate. Same process.
What had you thought about a legal career prior to this? Like, did you do any like expert witness consulting or
Nothing,
nothing?
nothing,
It was literally,
absolutely nothing.
so it was literally sitting, observing this person work in a role, and then you saying, I think I could do this, and this is interesting to me. And then you were like, I want to. Did you have an idea then that you would use a legal degree to work specifically with nurses, or you were like, I maybe I want to pursue, another area of law or contract law, but you were like, did you have a clear vision at that point?
I thought I would do hospital nursing. I thought I would do, like, be a hospital attorney and help and still help nurses. And and then I also actually thought, well, I'll do some divorce law or family law, because that's where my experience came from. And I tried it and I did not like it at all. Actually, funny story, I had a nurse who was getting divorced as a client, and she actually was in the hospital, and I had to go get some paper signed. So I went to the hospital to see her and get the paper signed, and her husband stalked me. And that was a very scary experience. And so I decided, nope, not doing that anymore.
Got it. Okay. All right. So was that one fateful, and thank you for sharing and being vulnerable to say, that, because I think, and I don't know, maybe this is my own interpretation or feeling about the nursing field, but I think nursing is a socially acceptable route for women, and for many women. It's a
Hmm.
career. It'll afford you the opportunity to work, and you can have a family and 312s and that kind of thing. And so you wonder how many of us get into nursing as it's an acceptable, we have the mindset of like, oh yeah, well, I could do that because that's, the societal norms say, yeah, of course women can be nurses. And then we get into it, and then it becomes more of, along the way, it takes us so far, right? We get through that first phase of work that we do and the way in which we create impact and create value for other people. And then it gets us so far. And then we go into kind of a 2.0 of, where we have to make a bigger leap. Maybe it's a mindset leap of, maybe I'm not smart enough to do that. And then all of a sudden we have a moment and say, I could do that. I could
Yeah.
totally do that.
Hmm.
That's an interesting. So thank you for sharing that. That's really, it's so good it's just refreshing to hear, to be honest. Okay, so you go, so you're like, I'm a unit manager. I'm going to law school. I'm becoming a lawyer. And then what happens? You open a business, and what can you tell us kind of a little bit about that business, what it looked like then and what it looks like now? And then I'm curious too, did you ever have kind of along the way some smaller side hustle or venture where you, to test the waters, so to speak, that tried just out of curiosity?
Well, first of all, I continued to nurse for the first 3 years of my law career.
Okay.
I started out as at the Department of Insurance, defending the Patient's Compensation Fund. I never wanted to own my business. And then after the Department of Insurance, I was recruited for this law firm to do medical malpractice defense. And I was doing medical defense work throughout the state of Indiana, represented nurses, hospitals, doctors, you name it. And then one day, after I think I had been an attorney 10 years or so, the partners came to me and said, Lorie, I have to tell you something. The insurance company that you represented went out of business and you don't have a job. And I thought I was going to die. It was unbelievable. And they had kept assuring me, because I saw their ratings going down, and they kept assuring me, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll have a job, until I didn't. And what they didn't know at the time is I was pregnant with my second child and I'm a single mom. So that was like, I was devastated. I went home, I was crying, I was throwing up. I just didn't know what I was going to do. And so I decided, well, I'll hang out my shingle to be a legal nurse consultant, because I know all the attorneys. I know I was co-defendants with them, or they were plaintiffs that I paid money. And in Indiana, we have this medical review panel process that I can write their submissions. It's all in writing to the medical review panel. And I thought, well, this will be great. And so I hung out my shingle. I spoke, I believe, and exhibited at the Trial Lawyers Association and the Defense Trial Lawyers Association, and thought, well, okay, now I got the word out. People know who I am. And I thought, business would come rushing. Well, it was crickets. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do now? And so it's, you think that if you just go and exhibit or tell people what you're doing, that they're going to come, and it doesn't work like that. You're laughing. Yes. It's,
only because I know my first group, I was like, well, why wouldn't people want to work with me? Of course they want to, and then
right.
I was like, what happened? I got no calls on that first group, no messages, no texts, no nothing. And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh no, what happened? I can't, I must not be able to do a business. And then what happened to you?
So then I promised myself, if I ever figured this out, I was going to teach other people. So that's what I do now. But I also, in the meantime, well, there's a couple of pivots along the way, but it took me 5 years. 5 years to figure it out. And back then there weren't mentors or people to help you, get started. And I know, now I know part of why it didn't work initially, and that was because attorneys need to know, like, and trust you before they're going to give you your confidential records. And I was a threat because I was an attorney. So the legal nurse consultants don't have that like I do. They need you. But once they figured out I'm here to stay, I'm not going anywhere. And so I built my business to the point where I had 8 legal nurse consultants working for me. They would come on a Monday. They would bring their old case and the report and the old case. They'd come get a check and a new case, and they'd come back the next Monday, and that's how it worked. And then about I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I decided, I'm always reinventing myself. So I decided, well, I want to add professional licensing defense to my practice. And so, and that, because I knew the tools on how to grow business, I was able to grow that. Like when I started it, my income from LNCs was up here, income from professional licensing defense was here. And basically within the year, I matched. Or exceeded. And so it was really easy once you know those skills. So now I do professional licensing defense. I'm licensed in Indiana and Illinois, but I have co-counsels in tons of other states. And it's really interesting to see how other state boards deal with things compared to Indiana. And then I also help nurses grow businesses and teach them the business skills and the mindset skills so that they can be successful, and it doesn't have to take them 5 years.
Yes, that's the truth. Now, do you work with nurses who are starting a legal nurse consulting business or any business?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then how, if you had, you've had such a tremendous career, if you had something to share with someone who was maybe, you know, we have many advanced practice nurses in this group who are, it's about a third. A third will say, I have no idea. I know I would like a side hustle, but I don't know what I want, you know, send help essentially. We have a middle third who they're kind of like, I kind of have something. I kind of think I want to do it. I'm just, you know, I'm ready to start. Help me with starting. And then we have about a third who say, I already have a hustle. I have a couple side hustles. I'm looking to maybe leave bedside and go into some sort of other, you know, money making endeavor with my experience. So knowing that, you know, if you had to offer any wisdom to someone in our group, what would you share with them?
Start, just start. If you have a desire, you just got to get started. Now, look at me. My career has gone like all over the place, but I've constantly grown myself and my business. And so you have to start, and just sitting back and waiting for this magic inspiration to come to you. Well, that is great. It's going to change. It will change because we all change and grow, and the message or the business that you want to start today is may not be the one you end up with. If you told me, you know, 21 years ago when I started this, that I'd be, you know, on Facebook Lives and written 3 books and taught, spoke internationally, I wouldn't have believed it. But you just have to start. Just take that step and start. And if you're waiting to get it perfect, there is no perfection. It'll never happen. Just start. Because just like nursing, were you perfect when you started nursing? Absolutely not. It took you some time to get those nursing legs under you and to get that, to become confident as a nurse. And the same is true as a business owner. But you just have to start. Take imperfect action.
Yes, take imperfect action. We talk about that often. Yeah, so true. Yes, I agree. Thank you for sharing that. That's good. And I think too, for many of our group members who are, they're like, I don't even know where to start. You know, it can be so frightening, and that's one of those places that I think we can get very easily into just feeling paralyzed on, you know, I don't even know. But the reality is, even just watching this video is the first step, right? Educating
Yeah.
yourself and understanding a little bit more about the opportunities that are out there for you is a great first step to say, I don't know what to do. Now, if someone was like, Lorie, I have this idea, how can they get a hold of you? How can they contact you? How do you prefer that to go?
Sure. I have a thing that I created for the people that don't know what they want to do. It's called 101 Ways to be a Nurse Business Owner. And in that document, I talk about all the great things nurses can do. And I put 101 ways, and there's things that I left out because I keep hearing of different things. And nurses are brilliant. They make the best business owners. We have critical thinking skills, we have judgment, we have prioritization, organization, and we have good people skills. I mean, everything it takes to have a good business, to have a successful business. So, you know, what I would look at is, and you're welcome to schedule a call with me. Go to callwithlorie, Lorie.com, callwithlorie.com, and we'll do a 15-minute strategy session to help you get from nurse to nurse business owner, you know, try and figure out what's the right one for you, what's going to get you excited and get you motivated to get you out of bed in the morning to do the work to get the results.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That's good. So what is the website again? Is
Call with Lorie, Lorie.com.
okay.
And in that, we'll give you the 101 ways to be a nurse business owner as well. And
Okay.
the nurse's legal business checklist, because of
That's
course,
awesome.
being an attorney, I want you to start your business on solid legal ground.
Excellent. So this is so good to know. Okay. And then do you do, and out of curiosity, do you do consulting for like legal consulting for nurses with business in order like helping them to cover their bases if they have a website or if they have any services or products that they provide? Do you provide any legal wisdom and around how to do that in a way that is that protects you from, you know, more litigation? And I mean, is that something that you do as well?
I love coming up with agreements, like packages, pricing, and agreements for your clients. I don't do like the C Corp, the S Corp, the LLC. Um, I don't do that part of things. That's just not um, my passion. So I try to stick with what I really like.
Okay, good for you. Okay, excellent. Oh, this is really good. Thank you so much for sharing. There are so many pearls, I think, today. What I heard you say, just this idea of it can take one small experience where we see opportunity and we're ready for it, and we make that move and very quickly change the trajectory of so much, which is what I heard you say. And I also heard you say start now, right? Like
Right.
practice makes progress, right? Not practice makes perfection. If we get stuck in that idea of making it perfect, sometimes we then don't do anything. And then I think the other thing that was really interesting to learn too is just knowing that business can take ups and downs, it can take twists and turns, and we pivot. And the reality is, who would have thought for you that getting fired or not getting fired, but losing your job may have been a catalyst for you to say, oh, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Which I think tends to be kind of a frightening, area for people, right? Like, I lose my job, what would I do? Well, reality is you could be like Lorie and you could just hang up your shingle and make some money, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing stopping you. That's the bottom line. The only thing between you and your dreams is you.
Yep, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Yeah, it's how many times we get in our own way. It's not the truth. Okay, very good. All right. So you guys, thank you so much, Lorie, for being present today with us and for sharing so much about your experience. And it was really good to hear your story. And again, you guys know how to get in touch with Lorie. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comments below. You can always reach out to either one of us with further questions, comments. And but Lorie, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be with you today. And I wish you continued success. And thanks for being an inspiration to me along my professional journey. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time with another interview. And don't forget, just take that first step, get going. Don't wait for it to be perfect. So, all right. Bye, Lorie. Thanks a bunch.
Bye. Thank you.